guys, and welcome to Katie's Insight, where I give my insight on a bunch of stuff. Just kind of whatever I want. We do a few different things on here. We cover current events, news, politics, stimulus, which is most important right now because we are all struggling and we all need help, as well as I go into entertainment and finance, business, just whatever I feel like talking about. I like to give my insight on things. So today, what we're going to go into is we had stimulus pass. We had a couple pieces of stimulus pass this past week, and I have some updates on where that is at and how that can affect us. Very, very excited because, like I said, who doesn't need the help? We need the help right now. And guys, before we begin, I would just like to remind everybody who has been here, first of all, thank you so much to all the new people that are here. I so appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. And if you haven't, please make sure, like the video, subscribe, hit notifications so you can be notified daily what's coming out of the pipeline for you in stimulus. Comment and share. As many of you know, I just left my old channel. This is day 2 on this channel, and we have done exceedingly well. So much that, like, I thought the videos wouldn't even get like 500 views, and boom, like 1,500 in the first hour. Y'all, I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for helping me. We are, and just to give you guys a quick update, we are about 1/4 of the way to getting monetized. So please help me out as much as you can. Like, share, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, get this content out to people, and hopefully in the next week, I can be monetized. I can do gift card giveaways, which is what makes me happy. I hate asking y'all to do something if I can't give you something. I like to be the one to give something. So thank you so much for helping me with that. I really appreciate it. And please continue. Please just watch the videos. If you want to watch more than once, it really does help. Once I get monetized, it'll be different. But thank you to everybody who's already done that so far. Lots of love, and I just love you guys and appreciate you. So wanted to go ahead and go over that. But okay, y'all, as I always do, I have an article of information pulled up that's going to go in detail. But let me explain some of what's happened with this stimulus. So we had 2 pieces of stimulus. I'm going to focus on the first one because the second one is a mess and needs a whole nother video. But this one is Thursday night, the House passed its own stimulus. So it was the House led by, as we know, Ms. Nancy Pelosi. And with her doing that, basically this is a slimmed down version of the HEROES Act, which I know was in, I believe it was like 3.4 trillion. This is going to be around 2.2 trillion. So the good news about this is that it seems like on both sides, the Republicans and Democrats, or as we know, they've been meeting in the White House and the Democrats are coming closer to a deal. Mnuchin has just put out his new plan as well. That's going to be 1.6 billion. So right now we are about, what is that? We are like 0.6, not billion, million. I think it's million. I can't think. It's too early. But we are, I think, 0.6 million off, or 100 million, or however you want to put that. So we're getting there. We're getting closer, because before it was almost 4 trillion to like not even wanting to go to 1 trillion. So this is good news that we're getting in the middle. And what is this? It's just a slimmed down HEROES version. So of the HEROES Act. If you guys remember the HEROES Act, I'm not a fan. I'm happy that the House tried to pass something quickly because we needed help back in May. And I'm angry the Republicans drug their feet to not help us at all. It seems like the only one trying to help us is Trump in the White House, and now he's sick. And by the way, when I say that, I say he's getting the appearance of. Because as I've said before, I'm not pro-Trump, I am not anti-Trump. My stance is that I don't know these people, and there are things I like, things I don't like. I'm just saying to the American people, Trump is the only one that looks like he's stepping up to try to help. The HEROES Act, though, in my opinion, is very bloated. It's over budget for no reason, except for state and local, looking at you, Nancy. And it doesn't go far enough to help the American people. We only get 1 round of $1,200 stimulus checks, which to me is very sad, because the Democrats they want to act like the kind, tolerant, loving left, and they've said we need multiple checks. Well, why didn't you have that in a bill? Unless their thought is we were never going to get this to pass. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see, but that does bother me. But this just may be a provision that they have to kind of skirt around or put in as a result of everything else going on, because they don't think they can get it to pass. So I do want to give some room for that and try to be fair. But we also get the unemployment, the enhanced unemployment. So the Republicans right now, as it stands, they want to do $400 a month. And with this new slimmed down version of the HEROES Act, it would be $600 per month. It would go back to that $600. And I believe it would be backdated until July 25th, which would be nice because many of you would just be getting a chunk of money that falls into your laps. However, you would need to be careful on that. And the reason you would need to be careful when it comes to all of this is because some states may require you to give back the FEMA money. I know Wisconsin started to put that out there to its people, even though nothing has happened, which I think is ridiculous, and I think it's atrocious, and I don't know how you can ask for it back because they are separate entities. But then again, it looks like this is all being done per what unemployment wants to do. So I guess it just depends, unless the president would put out more guidance, or they had more guidance in a bill about this FEMA money versus the stimulus. But their whole thing is we don't want to double dip. And I'm just like, really? Really? You guys don't want to double dip, just like all the politicians did when it came to you getting your salaries, your kickbacks, and taking money from us for the PPP. Which, speaking of PPP, there'd be more money in here for the PPP. No EIDL, unfortunately. Which it seems like the only one that gave any money for the EIDL recently was the Problems Solver Caucus. They put out their own kind of bones of a bill where it actually gave more money for the EIDL, which is fantastic, except the EIDL stopped doing grants, and so is it really going to help people at this point? I guess it could help your business if your business hasn't shuttered, but too little too late. How many businesses are now permanently gone, unfortunately? It's very sad, in my opinion. It's very sad. But these are the kind of things that you would get with this new HEROES Act. They also have forms of hazard pay. Again, I don't think it goes far enough. I think people who've been on the front lines for the last year deserve a $50,000 chunk to fall into their lap. And even to me, 50 is low for you guys risking your life. But welcome to America, where we still don't value health. We still look at people who get sick, are sick, the chronically sick, or the disabled as lazy. And I get it on the one hand, because we are an industrious people, and we are a people that like to work, and we like to work hard, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when you allow hard work to overtake your health, and when you allow a society to run rampant where we have situations like, and thank y'all for the comments, you reminded me, Flint, Michigan, where the water's just being poisoned and the food has crap in it. I mean, of course, you, or at least your children or your grandchildren's generation, is going to be messed up. I always think about this. I'm like, it's interesting to me over the last 20 years, seeing the shift of how many people now have allergies and asthma that never had it before. When I was young, I had extreme asthma and allergies, and it wasn't common. Even like regular allergies weren't that, like people go, I have hay fever. Like it wasn't that common. And now it's like everybody I know has an allergy to something. What's going on with our immune systems, y'all? These are the questions that I have, but not going to go down there at the moment. But this is where we're at when it comes to stimulus. So I want to go in, and I have this article of information that we'll go over in details, and then we will talk about some of the other things going on and what this means for us. Let's take a look. And this is from the Washington Post. It says, House Democrats pass $2.2 trillion stimulus bill over GOP opposition. Bipartisan talks continue. White House press secretary says Pelosi is not being serious. Pelosi says administration is offering the heel of the loaf. House Democrats passed a $2.2 trillion virus relief bill Thursday over intense GOP opposition, even as bipartisan talks between House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin continued. The legislation, which passed 214 to 207, has no chance of advancing in the Republican-led Senate and is opposed by the White House. But it's been nearly 5 months since the House passed the $3.4 trillion HEROES Act, which also went nowhere in the Senate. So with the House set to recess Friday through the election, Pelosi from California acceded to the demands from moderate Democrats who wanted to take new action to address the toll of the virus pandemic before heading home to campaign for re-election. This is not just a money debate and a language debate. It's a values debate. It's important for people to know that what this fight is about, Pelosi said on the House floor ahead of the vote. The people have needs, and we have to meet them. Republicans railed against Pelosi for advancing a bill that has no chance of becoming law, accusing her of playing politics instead of trying to strike a bipartisan deal. And even though it was largely presumed from moderate Democrats, some in tough re-election races, that persuaded Pelosi to reverse course and put the bill on the floor, 18 mostly centrist Democrats voted no on the legislation Thursday, with some expressing frustration that they were voting on a bill that was headed nowhere instead of an actual deal. Today's package is another partisan exercise that will never become law, just as the HEROES Act never received a single vote in the Senate, let alone reach the president's desk. Freshman Representative Abigail Spanberger said in a statement, "The American people are exhausted by empty promises and government dysfunction." But even as the highly partisan debate was underway on the House floor, behind the scenes, Pelosi was, in fact, working to strike a bipartisan deal with Mnuchin. The two spent the day trading phone calls and offers, and although Pelosi said they remained far apart on some issues, the negotiations were continuing and appeared to be getting into some granular details, such as specific language on the virus testing plan, and whether and at what level Republicans could agree to a refundable child tax credit sought by the Democrats. "We're going back and forth with our paper and conversations," Pelosi told reporters at the Capitol late Thursday. Asked about the odds of reaching a deal, she replied, "I don't know. It just depends. We'll see." Pelosi and Mnuchin renewed their bipartisan talks only this week, after negotiations collapsed in early August. Congress has passed no virus relief legislation into law since 4 bills in the spring totaling some $3 trillion and chances of getting a new deal before the election have been looking exceedingly low. But the fact that Pelosi and Mnuchin are now trading offers in earnest appears to suggest there's some hope of success, even if they do manage to clinch a deal. However, the White House would still have to sell it to Senate Republicans, who have been highly skeptical of any legislation over $1 trillion. Mnuchin went into the talks with Pelosi with a $1.62 trillion offer, the White House confirmed Thursday, a sum the Speaker still views as too low. But there are a number of areas of overlap between the legislation the House passed Thursday and Mnuchin's offer, including small business assistance and a new round of $1,200 stimulus checks. The two sides both support enhanced unemployment aid, though Pelosi's bill has $600 a week compared to Mnuchin's proposal at $400. The two sides are also circling agreements on some $75 billion for virus testing and tracing, while working on specific language on how it would work. Pelosi is still holding out for more state and local aid than Mnuchin has agreed to. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has sounded skeptical about a new deal, but in an interview on Fox News late Thursday, said he would evaluate any agreement the House Speaker and Treasury Secretary come up with. "If they can reach an agreement, I will take a look at it and see whether I can sell that to the Republicans," McConnell said. The legislation the House passed Thursday is a slimmed-down version of the $3.4 trillion HEROES Act from May, including many of the same provisions, but with time frames shortened to reduce cost. In addition to money for stimulus checks, small businesses, unemployment insurance, and virus testing and treatment, it also has aid for election security and the Postal Service, and assistance to airlines that are up against a deadline to furlough workers, among many other provisions. The closed-door negotiations between Pelosi and Mnuchin stood in contrast to public finger-pointing by both sides Thursday that appeared almost to forecast defeat and preemptively assign blame. At the White House, Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany confirmed that the administration had offered Pelosi an approximately $1.6 trillion package, much higher than the congressional Republicans would be able to support, but said Pelosi was not interested. Nancy Pelosi is not being serious. If she became serious, then we would have a discussion, McEnany said. For her part, Pelosi criticized the GOP's proposal as too stingy, contending that the administration is focused on protecting tax breaks for the wealthy instead of help for families and children in need. This isn't half a loaf. This is the heel of the loaf, Pelosi said on Bloomberg TV of the White House proposal. Even as Pelosi was criticizing the White House plan for not going far enough, some Republicans were suggesting it went too far. Representative Ken Brady from Texas, the top Republican on the White House Ways and Means Committee, expressed concern on Fox Business about numerous provisions under consideration, including the amount of unemployment aid and aid for state and local governments. Brady said some help is necessary for the airlines and restaurant industries, but it is not clear at what cost. The worry is, how much wasteful spending will we have to swallow to do this, Brady said. I do think we need some targeted help. The question is it $500 or $700 billion that's really needed? Is the other $1 trillion on top of it so wasteful that we can't do that? We don't know yet. In the opinion of some Republicans, the unprecedented $3 trillion stimulus Congress agreed to in March and April was more than enough, and there's no need to do more. But Mnuchin, along with other leading policymakers, including Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, have consistently argued that more stimulus is needed amid signs that the recovery is slowing. Much of the stimulus approved in the spring has expired. Unemployment remains high, and layoffs are on the rise. The number of people claiming unemployment rose slightly to 26.5 million, and Americans' income dropped in August along with the expiration of emergency federal aid programs. Disney announced 28,000 layoffs this week, and major airline companies have indicated tens of thousands of layoffs are possible in coming days without additional federal help. American Airlines has announced it will move forward with furloughing 19,000 workers, citing inaction in Congress. Okay, so per the article, here is the concern right now. The concern right now has to do with the negotiations. So apparently, Pelosi has started to meet with Mnuchin again. They didn't meet for like months. And the thing was, I don't know if you guys remember this. So like Pelosi was mad because it wasn't going anywhere because they were basically, she and Schumer were just demanding what they were demanding and they weren't going to relent. And Mnuchin and Meadows were trying to meet them halfway. They were throwing out deals. They were trying, and you know, the other side, Pelosi and Schumer wouldn't bite. They wouldn't do anything. So they basically all just said, screw it, let's call it a wash. And they just all kind of walked away from it, which is highly, highly disappointing for the country. The one person I would say I don't fault too much in this is going to be Mnuchin, because I feel like Mnuchin has really, this is my opinion, I feel like he's gone above and beyond as an American to really help us. He is in the Treasury, but my understanding is he's not required to be doing all of this stuff with stimulus when it comes to doing the deals and all of this. He's doing it because he genuinely cares and wants to help. Unless you guys have more information, I am mistaken, but I feel like, and also he's one that is he's not partisan, right? So I really like him for all of that. And I have heard the rumors that like he's actually a secret, like, rogue agent Democrat, and fine, whatever, you know. I know for me, I don't take a side, right? I am nonpartisan as well. I'm not going to take a side on any of this, but there are certain issues I lean liberal, and there are certain issues I lean conservative, and that's okay. Like, that, it doesn't mean you're a this or a that. Like, we don't have to put labels on it, and I really like people who just want to get in there and help because that's what we need. But it looks like unless we continue to have these talks behind closed doors, the only problem is this doesn't seem to have a shot to be getting passed because it has to go through the Senate, and the Senate does not want the HEROES bill. Now, if you remember, the House is Democrat-controlled, the Senate is Republican-controlled. And this is the unfortunate thing, is that even though this bill is bloated, it's going to go to help states that don't need help to bail them out of their situations, and we don't get enough help in it. It's something. But the Republicans want to do little, if not nothing, Now, the good thing is across the aisle, everybody agrees on stimulus checks and everybody is seeming to agree that we need some form of unemployment help, but nobody can actually come to a situation or to an agreement. So what's the next step on this? Of course, the Senate has to vote, but what's happening is Mnuchin and Pelosi are trying to meet in closed doors and really hash this out, because what's going to have to happen is the White House is going to have to sell this to the Senate. So they need to try to come to some terms and some agreement. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen before the election? Let me tell you what I'm thinking. It's a bit of a crapshoot. And as you guys know, and I'm going to continue to follow on the story, so stay tuned because I have more information. President Trump and First Lady Melania have the virus, which, you know, my heart, I feel like for the most of us, I'm going to speak on the majority of everybody's behalf. Our hearts go out to y'all. I'm so sorry, and I hope you guys get better soon. And look, I understand people being frustrated at the president because he now has the virus and some of the policies and things he's tried to do with reopening the economy, with reopening the schools. I get it. You have every right to be upset. I will say this. I really don't want to go down blank theory lane. You know, I have to even be careful with what words I say because this is YouTube. But I hate to say this, but you know, there have been some rumors, and I'm going to cover this in another video. There have been rumors that there is a certain specific country that is actually at fault for this because they gave everybody, you know, that the president and several people in the White House, because it's now kind of exploding, the virus. Now, I'm not saying that's true. I'm also not saying that's not true. Honestly, I don't know. And I don't think any of us are going to know. But I will say it seems like 2020, it seems like every other day or every couple days, something crazier happens and we just go, oh, didn't see that coming. To me, the crazy thing was the fact that like half the White House is now infected with the virus. It's crazy. Like that's just crazy making to me. And I say that with all the compassion in the world and with how many crazy things are going and how much craziness is being exposed in the world. I feel like at this point to say it's a blank theory, it really plays into the narrative, don't question anything. If you question anything, you're crazy. But at this point, how can you go through 2020 right now and not question? So I wonder, and by the way, I'm not saying I have a conclusion. I don't. I'm just saying, as a cognitive thinking human being, I wonder what's going on. But with everybody getting the virus right now, with the fact that Trump has now been hospitalized, which is concerning because we know somebody of his age and his pre-existing health conditions, he is susceptible. So this is a very scary situation. So what we were predicting and what it was looking like was that some type of stimulus would be passing because we had the stopgap coming up for the government, which we will get into in another video, because the airlines needed bailed out. We're going to get to that in another video. And that airlines, the furlough for them was October 1st. So we were looking at something happening between now and then. But with the president, and the president, here's the thing, he's one of the only people right now that I see that's really pushing to do something now, right? The House was going to go on recess until the election. Now the House is going to stay here, thank goodness, which they should. They freaking should. But again, this is kind of my point with all of this. And looking at this situation, because there's been the president has been, and the White House has been the biggest push in getting us stimulus quickly right now, because a wrench has been thrown in the situation and he is now incapacitated at the moment. I don't know what this means. I think a lot of us are just kind of sitting and going, okay, we're just going to have to see what comes next. I think we had a more decent shot of getting something passed in early October and this week, except for what's going on with the president. It just really puts everything on hold. But I will tell you, it can go one of two ways. Either this will be a bigger push for stimulus, or it's going to be more on hold because of the situation. Because what's going to happen with the election now? What's going to happen with the debates? And I know, and I've heard this before, and I've even given you guys this information. We have never delayed a debate or an election. We're not going to start now. Yeah, but we're in some unprecedented times. I've heard people say, yeah, but the Spanish flu of the early, of 1919, the early 1900s, we're smarter and we're better as a society than then. Should we let our 3-year-olds go work full-time, long hours in the factory? We did dumb stuff like that then. We shouldn't compare the dumb actions of our past to where we should go in the future. It's always an interesting argument. And look, I get it for people who want to uphold the Constitution, for constitutionalists, I get it. But we have to evolve and grow as a society, because if we don't, what's the point? Do you know what I'm saying? So we used to let children, 3 years old, again, work in factories, come out smoking cigarettes. We don't do that anymore. And there are reasons, because we understand it's unhealthy and we need to focus on our health. which is something over the last 100 years that we have evolved with. Not nearly as much. We could be much better at it, but that is me going down blank theory lane, and I'm going to try to stay away from that, even though to me those aren't theories. What is our medical system doing? I'm going to leave it there. So guys, I just wanted to give you an update. We did have some stimulus pass. Here's where it's at the moment. We are still on hold, so at the moment, nothing is happening yet, and be very careful if you are on unemployment because that FEMA money is running dry, unfortunately. So many states are already maxed out with that. Your state can get up to 6 weeks. So you'll just have to check, and I believe it's unemployment POA or POAunemployment.com. You can go and look on that website, and it has the LWA tracker. The LWA tracker is the FEMA stimulus, so you can track to see where your state is at and what is coming down the pipeline. So fingers crossed, y'all. I'm just kind of looking around going, okay, so when do the aliens come? Like, okay, 2020, I feel like it's like, what was it? I've seen those memes where it's like, have you guys seen the 2020 reality special? Oh my gosh, wait to the end, it's going to be crazy. And I've seen memes where it's like, next is alien invasion. I want to be the first to say, if aliens come, which by the way, if you all followed me, you know I'm a huge fan of ancient aliens. No joke, I've actually studied like possible alien cultures and different things that are out there. If aliens land, if you are a Pleiadian alien, then please by all means, come and chill. Unless you're an a-hole. If you're an a-hole, I don't care if you're an alien, I don't want you around. Y'all, I fantasize about having alien friends because this planet is just so messed up and some of the people are messed up. But you know what? Not us, because we're all going to walk away in 2020 having alien BFFs. I'm going to end this because I'm getting a little nuts. But y'all know a little bit too much about me. No, seriously, I love the history. The History Channel has just become like alien theories. My favorite jam. I love it. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you guys could please help me out again to support this channel because I'm now having to start over from scratch. I am not monetized, so anything you can do to help me in terms of liking the videos that you see, subscribe if you haven't, hit notifications if you haven't, please leave a comment. Every comment helps. Multiple comments are certainly welcomed on this channel. And please share this content with as many people as you can right now. People who are on unemployment, waiting for unemployment, waiting for stimulus checks, SBA loan and grants, anything in between. I would love to help as many people as possible. Also, if you want more of me, you can find me on Facebook right now. The page is called Katie's Insight, like the page. Join our stimulus group. At the moment, it's called Katie's Corner, but it will be changed to Katie's Insight. Facebook has rules about letting you change the name too often, so I have to wait a few more days. But make sure, so go to Katie's Insight, like the page, Katie's Corner, join the group. Come in there, ask all the stimulus questions you want. We would be happy to have you and go over all of that. Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming and hearing my insight about whatever. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you guys soon until the next video. Take care. Bye.